Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see a couple of you are here. We'll get started in a moment when folks get in here and we can go ahead and get started. Let us see. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you are. Hey Kim, hey Tassie, how you guys doing? Boy, did we have a crazy week. Tassie, oh yeah, you can hear me this time. We were having some real audio struggles last week, right? But we made it through. We definitely made it through. So I want to wait till a few more folks come on in so we can go ahead and get started. Hey Susan, how are you? Good afternoon. Looking forward to this all week. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I was looking forward to it too. You know what? We don't have a lot of, we have some things to talk about with the old couples on the Australia side, but we got these three new couples to talk about this week. We got these three new couples to talk about this week. So we definitely got a lot to chitter chatter about. Um, you know what? I'm gonna give about another minute or two as folks stroll on in. How has you guys' week been so far? Pretty good. Hope so. It's been busy for me this week. I did a lot of shows this week. I did Married at First Sight, Australia, US. Love is Blind came out yesterday for the finale. Then I still have to do Ready to Love episode number 6. Yeah. And then we're gonna do another live tomorrow evening. Probably be a little bit later because I have some stuff to do early. But I am going to do a live on the commitment ceremony number 3. So I know we all are looking for that. Hey Terry, girl, yeah, I'm ready too. I am ready too. Tassie, I am in Illinois. So I'm in the United States. I'm in Illinois to answer your question. All right, it's about 5 minutes after the hour here. So, like we always do, we usually start with Married at First Sight Australia because it's so many couples. Oh my God. I think we went from what, 8 or 7 now to now we got 10. So, yeah, it's been a busy week, and we're only halfway through the season, right? I think these are the last three final couples. I don't know if they're going to add any more, but I think that's it. So, what we got on the AU side is it. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about these couples. So, let's talk about our first couple this week, and oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy with this couple, and this couple that I am referring to is Kate and Matt. So, remember with Kate, Kate never was ever anybody's girlfriend. She never had a boyfriend. She never really been in a serious relationship. She had issues in her past with being bullied. People talked about her looks, and she's 38 or 39, so she's almost 40 years old and never really been in a relationship, right? She would just say, Kim, Kate is boring. However, on the flip side, look like Matt is just a ball of happiness. I mean, he is so open. He's trying to work with Kate, and Kate is just stonewalling him. Now, that whole wedding situation was so hilarious. She claimed she wanted to be married so bad, right? She gets down the aisle, see him He loves the fact that she is just beautiful, right? But she's not feeling him now. She don't find him her type. I don't think she finds him attractive. I mean, yeah. Tassie says she's always looking like she's smelling something bad. I know she always got her nose all crunched up. And it's like, girl, please give it a chance. This probably is the guy that's for you. And just to give a little bit of a background on Matt, Matt has been married before. And I think he used to do foster care with his ex wife. And throughout the time they did foster care for a number of years, he had a whole lot of children in his house. So, yeah, he seems like he's very nurturing, very caring. He's always happy. That whole thing with uh him kissing her at the wedding, and then he said, "You got to excuse my breath. I just got through eating chicken twisties." That was hilarious, and that definitely turned her off. He seems like a nice guy, Kim. Yeah, he does. He really does, and he is really, really trying. And she is just cold. She's the ice queen right now. She's just really, really cold. He has a big heart. Yeah, it does seem that way, Susan. But like Kim says, she, boring is right about the right way to explain, Miss Kate. I mean, hey Mary. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for the little red heart. I appreciate it. Mary says if Kate has never had a relationship, she wouldn't recognize what to feel, in my opinion. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you've never been in a relationship, have no relationship experience, how would you know how to act in a relationship? I don't know why she felt that this far down in the game of her life at 39, never being in a relationship, that she signed up to be married at first sight. That I don't get. Tassie says she is making the same shallow snap judgment that she accused men of doing with her. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, she was always saying how guys didn't find her attractive. She was never chosen to be in a relationship or whatever. And then she turned around and does the exact same thing to Matt. Susan said he's good looking. Yeah, he's not a bad looking guy at all. And his personality, he seems like he's a sweet guy. Kim says wet paint is more interesting than her. Girl, I'm telling you, she said, okay, so remember the swimming pool scene? He was ready to jump in and enjoy himself, and she's just sitting on the edge like um one of you guys, oh, Tassie, said that she's always looking like she's smelling something bad. I mean, she was looking at him like, oh, okay, oh, oh. And it's like, come on, girl, give a man a chance. Give him a chance. I mean, here's the thing. If she take that wall down and relax, and hey, we still got another week with them, hopefully. Maybe she'll kind of warm up to him, I hope. But at this point, it doesn't seem like she's interested in this guy. I mean, seriously. Now I will say he must be a real romantic because he always talking about the movie The Notebook. Hey Celery, how you doing? How you doing? Married at First Sight Australia was so mean to place her with a warm and friendly Matt. Done just for ratings drama. So unfair. You are absolutely correct. Why would you put this woman with somebody who is so open and so friendly like Matt is? I mean, seriously. It's not fair. I mean, maybe. What do you guys think? Do you think Holly would have been good for Matt, or would you think that wouldn't have worked either? Let me know what your thoughts is on that. Would Holly would have been a good match for Matt? Now, my thing is, I think on the core values situation, they might have would have been a match because he likes kids, wants want a child of his own, I think, and of course Holly did too. Terry says if she acts this nasty with the other men in her life, no wonder they would tell her she's not attractive. Yeah, I mean, looks only go so far. What about your personality? I mean, that could be part of the problem too. If she come in there with a bad attitude, a cold, or being the ice queen, yeah, I mean, what guy would want to be in a relationship with a person that acts like that? Celery says Kate seems like she may have had issues with childhood abuse. That's possible. I mean, I don't know. She really didn't go into detail. She just said that she was bullied in school for her looks, but that's possible. Kim says probably Holly needs a do-over. And Celery says, yes, Holly would have been good. Yeah, I'm wondering if that would have been a better match for Holly, putting her with Matt. Um, Now Terry says, I don't think I've seen anyone yet that would be a good match for Holly. Oh wow. Okay. Mary said Holly was too damaged by Andrew, I think. Okay. Hey Shanice. Hey, girly. Oh, you from New York. Okay. Susan says she has a consistent resting bee face. I can agree with you on that. But at the same time, with the resting bee face, she always have a nose kind of squinched up, like it was said that it looks like she's always smelling something bad. Celery is like, that's right. It's easy to understand why partners have run from Kate. Yeah. I mean, if she had that same mentality on how she's acting with Matt, of course, guys are not going to want to be in a relationship with her. Because I mean, if you cold and rigid and you don't want to interact to get to know your partner, or I mean, what guys want to deal with that? Andrew was the problem. Yeah, Andrew and her was just not a good match at all. But honestly, I think that if this continues, she's going to run a good guy away. He seems so far like he's a good guy. Shanice says that she reminds me of Alyssa. Yeah, the only difference with her and Alyssa is that she's not saying all of those derogatory things like, oh my God, like when Alyssa called Chris aggressive and look how he's pointing and he's just, oh, keep him away from me. She's not doing that yet, but she's definitely being pushing him away. Wonder if her twin sister have trouble dating too. Yeah, here's the thing. I think before this whole thing, those two lived together. So if she's not married and don't have any kids or not dating anyone, that's a possibility that her twin is in the same boat. Terry says, I'm hoping we hear more about Kate's relationship with her twin. They are 38, live and work together. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. You know. Now, what you say, Celery, she doesn't say I'm a good person over and over again either. Here, you know what? I think I'm hearing that a lot when people get now. I would say with Alyssa, which we'll talk a lot more about her later, she definitely deserved the villain edit because she is definitely being a villain. But I've heard that I'm a good person from a lot of folks who've gotten the villain edit. So if you watched Love is Blind finale yesterday, and if you haven't, I don't want to spoil it. But one of and you probably seen my recap video if you're here on my channel. But one of the people who got turned down to not be married with the other person, he went on Instagram and pretty much was saying, I'm a good person because he was getting all the hate from the fans on his social media account. So, the I'm a good person, I do hear that a lot with people who got the villain edit, whereas Alyssa, she deserved it because everything we saw is what came out of her mouth. Um, Mary says, yeah, they do live together, Celery. Yes, they do. Mary said her sister didn't look like she had work done on her face like Kate did. Really? I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even notice that. Kim says, if you have to say I'm a good person, then you're not really a good person. I think with some people who get that villain edit, they are trying to plead their case because the hate that comes on the DMs and social media is, somebody described it as an angry mob with pitchforks. I mean, so if you got somebody, a bunch of people coming for you and you're trying to say, hey, this is TV, I'm not exactly how I'm being portrayed, it does happen. But in Alyssa's case, I don't think that applies. Alyssa, yeah, she said that over and over and over again. And you're right, Celery. And like I said, we'll talk about more about Alyssa because we still got to get through Australia. Before we get, so far off base. But yeah, Alyssa said that over and over again. Terry said, yes, thank you for the Love is Blind recap. You are so welcome. Hey, that reunion is going to be interesting. I'm hoping one of my favorite couples, I won't say who it is, will still be together. But for those that haven't watched it, listen, that Love is Blind episode, Kinetic Content and Netflix uploaded that to the platform first thing Friday morning. And so when content creators like myself a few hours later start posting about it, we kind of got dragged a little bit for saying, "Oh my god, you're spoiling it." Here's the thing. And a lot of my other fellow content creators said, "Look, we can't control per se when you watch it because Netflix is on demand, and there are folks who might not watch this 6 months from now because it's always going to be there. So as long as it's uploaded by the actual production company, it's there. And as content creators running a content laced platform, we wanted to make sure that once we watch it, I didn't do my review until the next day, but I did post some things on my Instagram. So I had some explaining to do to some folks, but I was okay with that. So okay, so Celery said true is sad. So many people take being vicious on social media like a sport. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to be honest with you guys, because my platform, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, tends to be I'm very objective, as you guys already know. There are quite a few cast members from different shows that I do communicate with this and about this situation. So, I don't leave them out in the cold. I'm not a person that like to drag. I can't stand bullying, things like that, which, I like watching what I say, but some of the stories that I hear that these folks go through, it's crazy. I don't know how I personally or any of you guys, you probably don't realize how bad it can get. These folks get threats on their jobs. They get threats in their inboxes. Some people are told to, delete themselves. I mean, it's just out of control. That's how crazy that part of social media can get. So you can understand why people outside of Alyssa usually say, but wait, I'm a good person. I'm not. It's a TV show. Don't blame me. So all righty. But anywho, yeah, Kate, if she wants, because I honestly think that Matt could really truly be that guy for her. He thinks she's absolutely beautiful. He told her that on the wedding day. He's willing to engage her, and she's just not opening up. And that's just so unfortunate because she can miss out big time. I will say that she did communicate to him about her past, right? Because he was trying to get affectionate with her, touchy feely, because he seems like a touchy feely type of guy, and this is his wife. So he thought, like, well, let me start getting closer. I like the fact that she did tell him about her past, though. Now, that allowed him to kind of say, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with. Now I know how I have to move when I'm with you and why you're probably feeling this way. But if he's going to make accommodations for her, she also got to make some and meet him halfway and make accommodations for him as well. He can't do all the work. She got, if she wants to partake of, in this experiment and get to know this guy, she got to meet him halfway. Um, Celery said that Carolina, who now it appears that we'll talk about that, Mary. You trying to jump ahead, girl. Look at that. You got Celery involved, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Celery said it would be amazing if Matt manages to warm her up. I hope so. I hope that he does something to kind of bring her defenses down, or he does something that allows her to connect with him, see him in a different light, something. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see. But at this point, yeah, she is just not, she's not feeling him at all. Now, that dinner party and cocktail party that they had, they did show up together, but yeah, she wasn't feeling him. And what about, okay, so remember when Al did another shoey this week at the party? And then Matt actually participated and drunk alcohol out of Al's shoe. That was, I didn't expect that though. But I guess he figured like, hey, I'm going to join in the process. I'm going to have a good time. And at that point, Kate definitely saw that as being immature. She was like, dude, you almost 40 and you participating in a shoey with a 23, how old is he? A 25-year-old. Those shoeys are gross. Yeah, I don't see how they do it. I mean, you're putting your feet in shoes. Shoes has been walking on the ground. Dirt get in them, rocks get in them, bacteria, and Al has no problem pouring alcohol in his shoe and drinking it from it. That is so gross. But it was no issue for Matt. And I'm like, dude, I mean, other than that, the other things we saw about you was pretty good, but you doing that chewy, that definitely took him back a few steps when it came to Kate. She was not feeling that chewy at all. But maybe they can bounce back. There's a commitment ceremony. I don't know. I'm hoping that she kind of relax and excuse me, relax and open up with Matt to see where, their relationship could go, because I think he could be a good guy for her, you know? So it's up to her what she's going to do in regards to this, right? All right. So let's move on to our next couple. Now, this couple is to me a mismatch. I don't understand, what the experts were thinking. And that is Carolina or Carolina. I don't know how they're pronouncing her name. I think it's Carolina and Dion. What do you guys think about Carolina and Dion? Now, Carolina definitely was a turnoff because she was a bridezilla on her wedding day. There is no way, because here's the thing, the makeup artist did her makeup, right? She wasn't happy with it. They had an hour to get to the wedding. She decides to take off the makeup and start all over again. And when she got through doing the makeup looked just the same way almost as what the makeup artist did. And it was 3 hours later. 3 hours. What you say? Kim says she is the drama. Over 2 hours late to the wedding. Yeah. Yep. And from what I understand, it was kind of chilly outside because the other couples, the original couples that was there, they was talking about how cold it was. And, one of the husbands had to give their spouse a jacket. I mean, seriously. Um, yeah, she is a lot of work, Tassie. Celery says, I guess Carolina thinks she's being tough by saying women only like him for his money. Yeah, that was rude. Carolina is superficial. Susan, yeah, pretty much. Susan said, I like Dion. Carolina thinks her crap doesn't stink. Mary said the sad part is the fact that she didn't feel bad. No, she actually said if he waited all this time, he can wait a few hours more. I'm like, no, that's disrespectful. You knew that you had to be there at a certain time. You decided to take your own sweet time and you have no remorse about making your soon to be groom wait or any other guest that was there, because her friends was there, but they didn't seem too much to be shocked because they pretty much thought like, yep, this is Carolina. It doesn't surprise us that she is this late. Hey David, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What did you think? Oh, David, you missed us talking about Matt and Kate. Did she even apologize? I don't think so. I don't think so. Nope. And the other thing is, you would think she want to make a great impression on her stranger husband. She didn't care. She thinks Dion value her even more because she's not after his money, because she said that. Yeah, that's crazy. David says shoeys is an Australian play done in high school, and yes, it is gross. Absolutely. And for Matt, which you missed that conversation unless you were watching, Matt is 39 years old, and he was doing a shoey with Al, who's 25. But yeah, that was crazy. So they get to the wedding. She gets arrives at the wedding 3 hours later, and it didn't really phase Dion. He was just happy to see her and happy to get through this marriage. He wasn't mad. He wasn't upset. And I'm like, that's not a good. I'm not saying he should have got over the top angry. Not at all. But that should have kind of struck a chord with him to say, okay, she is not respectful of time. Red flag, not respectful of time. And the fact that, like you say, I don't know if she even apologized for it. Mary said, loving this chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad all of you guys are here. David said they put them together because he's wealthy and looking for someone to take care of. And that's what she's looking for. Well, I find that interesting because after the wedding, she turns around and make that crazy rude statement about the fact that, you know, she's not really attracted to him. And I'm not here for your money, but most of the women you probably dealt with only was with you because of the money you had. The other thing is, she was talking about his height. Yeah, Kim, thank you so much for saying that. Yes, if you are enjoying this chat, please, please, please hit that like button. If you are not subscribed and you just happen to pop in and see what's going on over here, hit the subscribe button. I do several different reality dating and marriage shows. So if you like that type of content, you're in the right place. Also, too, if you want to follow me on IG, because it really goes on over there. Most of the people that I'm in contact with, and also a lot of the favorite um, shows cast members usually post their personal stuff over on IG. Follow me on IG. I keep you guys updated. My IG handle is right there above. And if you want to support the channel, help keep this content going, you can also hit me up on my Cash App. The cash tag is there as well. Tassie says she was not sorry, didn't see the need to apologize. Yeah, that again, red flag number two. Number one, you're not punctual. Number two, you don't take accountability. Um, Celery says, yet Carolina said women tell you you're handsome because of your money. Yeah, that was rude. Mary says she was paying quiet attention to Jess and saw her chance with a tall man like she asked for. Mary, you are definitely trying to get to that whole situation with Daniel. We gonna get there, girl. She said the attractive, okay, XOS of money, because she is not physically attracted to him. Yeah, that whole statement. And see, she didn't think she was being recorded because and you got to watch out with production, because when you think you're not recorded or cameras are not around, that's when they get the most open and candid stuff. So yeah, David said if they did a wife swap, she definitely would go for Jess. She who? She would definitely go for Jess. Okay, let me know what you're talking about, David. Um, but yeah, I don't see any chemistry with these two. Now he's another one with a bubbly personality. He is definitely I think he's a business owner in real estate. I think it is. He's a real estate investor. So he definitely got the money and everything, but I she's not attracted to him. The height is an issue with her too. She wanted somebody taller. That's the other thing. So I don't know. Sometimes besides Olivia and Jackson and a couple of the OG couples that's on the show, Ella and Mitch, and who else would I say? Maybe DeMonica and Jack. The rest of these couples that are here seem to be put together for drama. Gotta be. Because I don't understand where they saw the compatibility with these two. I just don't. The other thing is with her, what did you guys think about the fact that she, for pretty much a long period of time until his friends got involved, she was trying to hide the fact that she has a 16-year-old. She had a child in her teen years, and then she tried to hide that until, you know, her friends told his friends, and then I think his friend Ellie, I think that's her name, went and talked to um her as well to say, hey, I hear you have a 16-year-old. Are you gonna tell Dion? And she was like, maybe. I'm like, how you gonna hide a 16-year-old son? That's gotta come out. And then for Ellie and I forgot the other male friend of his to go, and they couldn't bring themselves to tell him. She realized at this point, because Dion was like, something's off. Y'all hiding something from me. Why are you not telling me what's going on? And sure enough, she had to pretty much put it out there that she got a 16-year-old. But he was definitely, it didn't phase him. He was like, hey, your son is a part of you. I'm accepting of you. I'm accepting of him too. So that went pretty well. He's pretty laid back and easygoing. Celery says, okay, wait a minute. We got a bunch of comments. David says she likes the last new husband who came in the process. Yes. Kim says, yeah, he's a real estate developer. Yes, he's big in real estate in Australia. Okay, that's what I thought. What didn't you like, Kim? Because you said I didn't like that. Celery says by her crew comments, Carolina already showed that Married at First Sight is just an IG play. Yep, that's what it seems like to me. Yes, it does. She's trying to build her following because she has a business where she rent out luxury bags. Um, Dion's dad, long-term partner, is Gina Leonano from the Real Housewives. Oh, okay, cool. David said, I think she didn't want to say the child thing at the wedding, but the friends were a bit out of order. Respect that they allow her to tell him herself, though. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you know what? I honestly think that she should have told the his friends to say, "Look, I am going to talk to him. Just allow me the opportunity." But I think it was because she had originally said, "Well, I don't know. I might get around to it," or "I don't know, maybe." Then there was like, "Oh, wait a minute." But they didn't tell him. But they kind of left questions in the air, right? And of course, they got him concerned, which prompted Carolina to say something. Yeah, Mary, he did. He took it like a champ. She didn't realize that, hey, the good guy that she got. You absolutely correct. Trying to hide her son from him. Yep. David says she definitely came on for attention. Absolutely. I think her point with the attraction was valid, though. She was telling him she wasn't attracted to him. He seemed really pissed by that. So she was trying to say, Because you got money don't mean attraction. Okay, that's a good point. Yep. So, um, yeah. So let's kind of, now that we're on the dinner party part of this, because Dion was socializing, he had on his bedazzled, blinging suit jacket, and he didn't care. He was, yeah, he was shining and profiling. Um, in the meantime, Jess realized what was going on with, I mean, not Jess, Carolina realized what was going on with Jess and Daniel, and especially, which we'll talk about in a little bit, with Jess leaving the scene of the party. Daniel was there by herself. She had a little sidebar conversation with somebody that was not her husband. And she had the nerve, and I don't know if this was producers prompted her or this was her own thing, but she told him if there was any of the wives that you would be interested in, who would that be? And what did he do? He pointed directly at her. And she was like, "Oh, don't tell my husband that." And I'm like, "Girl, stop." So now they got all this friendly banter and this flirting going back, and because they sitting off in the corner, and seeing him in distress, we had Carolina pretty much telling him, "Look, huh, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here." I'm like, "Yeah, girl, that's a recipe for disaster." Now, unless Dion is like, you know what, she's out, I'm out. But at this point, you're technically married. So, yeah, that's not a good look, Carolina. She could have said he had a nice smile. Oh, you're talking to David. Okay, yeah, she could have said it better. Susan said he seems so nice, but I cannot wait to see him explode. This was staged for ratings, probably so, because they definitely don't seem like a match. Susan says yes to ask. Yeah, I honestly believe that they asked her to ask him. So, if there was any of the wives, who would it be? And he pointed directly at her. So I most definitely, excuse me, I most definitely think that that was production actually trying to start up a whole nother something, right? But let me ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that Carolina and Daniel would be an interesting match? Yeah, I'm curious to see what that would be about. But as for Dion and Carolina, I'm not feeling this match. I don't even know why. Oh, sorry. I don't even know why production even put these two together. I really don't. It really doesn't make any sense. Um, because Kim said it would be interesting. I would be interested in the seeing, what that would look like with Carolina and Daniel. But right now it's not a good look because they're both technically in a marriage with other people. So I don't know about that. But you know what? Since we're talking about Daniel, let's go ahead and move on to that particular couple because I actually had hopes for these two in the beginning, and then it went left, and then it went back on track, and then it went way left. And that is Jess and Daniel. Now, they actually clicked until, at the wedding, she made a statement about, "I can't wait to my real wedding so we can do ABCD," or, I can really, and he went way left with that statement. Now, here's what I didn't like about Daniel in that moment. I honestly think Daniel should have put a question on the table. He absolutely should have said, "What do you mean by that?" That would have saved him lying about going to the toilets, running off to production talking about, what does she think this is fake? Is she not being genuine? I'm like, dude, all you had to do was ask, oh, what do you mean by that? She would have easily told him. Well, what I mean by that is the fact that when we get, because remember, their families weren't there due to traveling restrictions of the pandemic, right? So she could have easily said, well, when we get back home after filming with our family, we can actually do a big wedding with both of our families there, which she explained after he just overreacted. Yeah, I'm hoping they get back on track, but yeah, Daniel disappointed me in that moment because he overreacted. He took that one statement and just went left with it. Daniel missed the point. Yep, you're not my dream girl, but he could have told her he was talking with the niece about the brown hair. Yeah, he sure could have. Very rude. This is not a real marriage or experiment. Yeah, he should know that. He know that. So I mean, it's like, dude, technically you guys are not legally married. It's not like married at first sight in the United States that when you say let's get a divorce, you got to go through the court. Um, let's see. Tassie said, remember Inez and Sam affairs take place on Married at First Sight. Okay. Let's see. But it's not a real right. David says he was insecure and already afraid of how the process was turning out. Yeah, he just went way left, David. Mary said Dan needed the balls to confront Jess, interrupting him in front of everyone. Yeah, you talking about the dinner party? Debbie said, I wonder if Danny knew he was her second groom. Okay, let's talk about that. I don't know if you guys seen my recap on Wednesday. Episode, what is that? 16, 17, one of the two. So originally she was paired with someone else. And I actually got the name of that. If you haven't checked out that recap video that I did of the last episode, I talked about it, had his name and everything in there. So what had happened was is that the original guy that they had for her, he had to be removed from the show because of some offensive comments that he made on social media. And of course, when people heard of that, you can't, social media definitely will call you out. And it got back to production and they had to remove him. And then they brought Daniel on as a second replacement for the first groom. So, yeah. Yep, there was a second groom. I actually, Celery, if you did not see my recap video that I did on Wednesday, it's all the details is in that video. Yep, that is true. So now let's see. Celery said, I knew she was rude to be complaining on the phone at 1 a.m. But before that, he didn't even tell her the things he liked about her. Yeah, it was a weird dynamic between those two. And it was interesting that when he came back and asked, well, are you being genuine? And I don't know if you're here for the right reasons and you think this is fake. Jess calmed him down, but then she also felt that he was throwing a tantrum. So yeah, that went way left real quick. Now they calmed down the next day after they got some sleep. Now, here's the other interesting thing I've been seeing on social media because she's been wearing her hair two different ways. Obviously, there's no shame in her game. And listen, people wear extensions, people wear wigs, people wear weaves, whatever. And there was no shame in her game because we saw her hair short in scenes at the house, and then we saw her hair long. So, I know a lot of folks was talking about that and making memes and everything, but hey, people do that all the time. Um, they hardly showed them though on their honeymoon, so we only got a taste of them before dinner. Well, there was another part because they did a painting date together. Mary, remember that? They did a painting date and they really bonded. They both let their defenses down. She's talked about her losing her sister to breast cancer. He talked about his loss and his family. And I think it was his father that he lost. So they really bonded in that moment. They really did. And then it went so far left because they got into a whole tiff back at the house after the whole painting date. Cause I was like, okay, we're making a turnaround. This might, after the whole wedding thing and his overreaction, I was like, oh, okay, well maybe they'll make strides now, especially, after the whole painting date. She threw the whole thing away with that question. Yes. So let's talk about that. I forgot about that. Okay. She put him in a trick bag, and I actually made that as a title on my review on Tuesday, I think it was. So that whole question that she asked him, because of course, the experts sent them this whole, what was it, the honesty box or whatever. She asked this man, if there was anything that you could change about me, what would that be? And if so, let's say physical. And he was like, why would you put me in a situation like that? Because I would look like a butthole if I said you need to change your eyes, or you need to change your nose, or you need to change your whatever. So, I mean, there's questions that are trick questions that men do not like to answer unless you're the type of woman who is okay with the response. It's almost saying, hey, I got this new dress, does it make me look this way? Or babe, I want to try this on, does this make my this look this way? And the husbands are like, do I really want to answer that question? Yes. You don't ask a question like that. It's a trick question, and he knew it. And then him not answering, she used that against him too. Well, not having an answer is an answer too. So you're pretty much telling me there is something wrong. And I'm like, oh my God. Don't ask a question like that. Yes, Celery, that was a stupid question. It was dumb. Yeah, David, I did. I love that painting date. I really thought that they were bonding on that date. Um, okay, there's some questions up. I missed some stuff. Celery said the painting date was sweet and he just forgot all about that. Yep. I wonder if Jessica and Dominica got into during the hen night. Hmm. I don't know. Something is missing for the way Dominica came for her during the dinner party. Yeah, that could be true. Anything, because they cut out a lot of stuff. Mary said, I would never ask a man that question. I hardly know. Absolutely. It's one thing if you've been in a relationship for a number of years, and when you ask a question like that, you know, the your spouse is coming from a place of love when he give you a response and you can take it. But you don't know this man to ask him that. This was a no-win question whether he answered or not. Absolutely. She backed him into a corner. And here's the thing, just say he did answer that question. That would also not set well on national TV with some of the female fan base because, you know, oh my God, you body shaming. Why did you say that about her? That's not nice. You're not all of that. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So it was a no-win question at all. David says Dominica is just as nosy, know-it-all, who needs to work on her own marriage. Yes, she do. She almost got into it with Jack. Or she did get into it with Jack this week. We got to talk about that. Or was that last week? But yeah, she is a nosy busybody. But yeah, so let's talk about this dinner party because people or some of the women was definitely noticing how she was acting. And Dominica called her out. Pretty much called her a child, you know. Yep. And so with her being called a child, she gets up and walk away to the other end of the table, and Dominica continued to pursue the issue, telling everybody, hey, have anybody ever had a problem in their marriage or didn't like their partner at one particular point? And people start raising their hands, and it was crazy. What did you guys think about what Dominica did? Because, I mean, do you guys think she should have just minded her business? Or should she have been called out? Because uh, I've seen some comments on social media that was saying Dominica should have just minded her own business and leave her alone, work on your own marriage. There are some folks that was like, yeah, she should have called her out because she was being rude and disrespectful. And I guess the heat got so hot in the kitchen that Jessica decided to leave. She even called Dominica the fourth expert. Did you guys see that? She also, you called her, I think, the B word, if I'm not quite mistaken. Okay, so Debbie said Jessica you used to over talking people and she couldn't respond to Dominica. Yeah, she might have met a match with Dominica. Now Kim, on the other hand, says she should have minded her business. And Mary says, yeah, somebody should have called out Jess. Yeah, she was being rude and disrespectful. And of course, knowing this TV show production, they were definitely here for it. And they know Dominica was the right one to be able to create this noise. So they knew. Yeah, that was funny. The fourth expert. David says she should have kept quiet, work on her marriage. They just like cause of drama. Yep. Debbie says the ladies were asking Danny questions. Jessica kept cutting them off. Yes, she did. You are absolutely correct, Debbie. And so you're saying Jessica deserved what Dominica gave her. She did. Every time they tried to get an answer out of Daniel, Jessica just kept over talking him. Kimmy says it goes both ways with Dominica, but I thought the purpose of the dinner party was for support and accountability. There's a lot of people that need to take accountability at that party on different things. Yep. David says exactly Kim B. Yep. Mary says experts said both Jess and Dominica don't back down. They sure did. And that's why I'm thinking they knew they had the right ones. Looked like Jess ran and couldn't take the heat. Yep, she got out of the kitchen real quick. Mary's, you agree? Yeah. I mean, Jessica got out of there. Well, with Jessica leaving, that allowed Daniel to be by himself because for a while before that conversation happened with Carolina, he was just around there looking like a lost puppy. He was like, nobody's talking to me. I don't know who to connect with. And here come Carolina. Debbie says, I have to give Dominica credit because she sat there and watched for a long time before she pounced. She did. She wanted to get the temperature of everything, and she didn't just act impulsively. She got flustered like she claimed Daniel did. She sure did. She reacted just like he did. Kim says Dominica is having problems of her own marriage. She need to focus on that before giving advice. Yeah, because we gotta talk about that little brief stunt too, because of that whole conversation. Remember that conversation she had where she was talking to, I think, the new brides and grooms about the whole toilet seat thing and him not doing stuff around the house. And he was like, man, you don't never say anything good about me, but I'm always singing your praises. That was not nice. And she knew it because she was like, oh, is that too much? Of course, if you had to ask if that was too much, then you knew it was too much. Jack shouldn't have to tell you that. Dominica called her out. Carolina saw an opportunity. Yes, she did. Because she definitely wasn't feeling Dion, and Daniel was by himself. Here's the other thing. Carolina likes muscular, tall guys, and that is Daniel. I think Daniel's like maybe 6'2", and he's definitely muscular. So that was right up her alley. And because he was like, "Yeah, I work out," and Carolina was like, "Yeah, well, my husband don't work out. He walks. That's about it. But she was putting him down. She had nothing positive to say. That is true. Yes, that's correct, Kim. And Carolina took it. Yep, she did, Mary. I'm glad that Jack stood up for himself against Dominica at the wedding reception. Yeah, that was at the wedding. I was trying to figure if that was at the dinner party or the wedding reception. It was at the reception. You don't say crazy stuff like that. Um, you don't say crazy stuff like that, when you are amongst people you don't know in front of a big group of people about your spouse. He's been saying good things about Dominica every chance he gets. But on the flip side, you talk about him and the toilet and all that stuff. That ain't cool. David says she just wanted the comic and chose him to be the prop. Oh, wow. That's funny. But yeah, that whole thing. But with Jessica and Daniel, and I don't see that happening, especially if Daniel is interested in Carolina, because it seemed like he is. And if that's happening, he's going to shut down, and he don't want to have no part of trying to fix things with Jessica. And at this point, I don't even know if Jessica want to fix things, especially being on the phone the other night before screaming about this guy and how much she don't like him. Oh, you agree, Mary? Okay, cool. David says if a man did this to his woman, it would be really sensitive. Yep. Kim said, "Are we going to talk about we're going to talk about knowing the noodles when we get to the US version. We're still in the Australia version. So yes, we are going to talk about Noi and Noodlegate. But yeah, I'm not feeling this couple. Unless there's a huge shift with Jess and Daniel, I don't see this happening at all. At all. And that's so unfortunate because when they had the painting date, I really thought that they made a real good deep connection. So, but it all went left. It all went left. So, do you think that any of these three couples, let me see, because none of them are working right now. Which of the three couples do you think can make a turnaround and it'll work? What do you think? Yeah, yeah. If the roles were reversed, we would be having a cow. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Debbie. Do you think that there's a chance left for Daniel and Jess? Do you think there's a chance left for Matt and Kate? Or do you also think that there's a chance left for David and Carolina? Because with these three couples this week, I don't see nothing. Nada. They don't have, oh yeah, Debbie, zero. Zero, zero, three, 0 out of 3. Exactly. Celery, you said zero too? Mary said zero. They don't have a chance except for Matt. Yeah, Matt is the only person out of these 6 people that I could say is really open, genuine, because the wife swapping thing with Daniel and Carolina, Dion is really being showboatish. I mean, maybe that's just his personality. And then with Kate, well, we've already talked about Kate. Kate is stonewalling. That's why I say I call her the ice queen. They're only bringing drama. You are exactly right. Now, there are some people, according to the previews that I saw for the commitment ceremony number 3, there are um some folks going home because some people wrote leave. So I don't know who or what couple that is going to be, but somebody's going home tomorrow. So yeah, he did. Oh my God, Kim and Debbie, the luggage and the high heels. Obviously, he has been told about his height because I think he said he's like 5'7", 5'8". I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then he wear heels with his shoes, and then all that luggage. He got more luggage than Carolina has. Yeah, that was hilarious. Hilarious. So yeah, I see 0.000 chances of any of these three couples working. And if they wanted to eliminate some folks, keep Matt and everybody else go home. Go home. Cause it ain't working. I don't see nothing. I hope Dion treats Carolina to a lovely luxury lifestyle and dumps her later. Celery, you are so funny. Yeah, so I see zero hope with any of these three couples. So I'm looking forward to the commitment ceremony tomorrow. Um, oh, before we move on, look like Celine and Anthony are back in the trouble zone again, which for a moment they were being nice, and now all of a sudden Celine is on the outs with Anthony again. So I don't, like I said, they should have went home. They should have went home. Prince wore heels and he could get it always. Tassie, you are that is too funny. Mary said if Dan says stay, it would only be to get Carolina. Both couples could say leave. That's true. Yeah, Celine, you know what, Kim? Yeah, Celine and Anthony should have went home. And that's gonna be interesting tomorrow because she didn't got started all over again. Oh, we also got to mention something else that happened this week. Al and Samantha actually consummated, as he called it, consummated their marriage this week. So yeah, Al and Sam did the do. They consummated the marriage. She seemed like she's happy, and he's definitely happy. So I'm happy for Al and Sam. I'm just hoping they can stay on that same path. Um, and then the other issue that we forgot to talk about is Cody and Selena at that dinner party. Oh my God, I felt so bad for Selena. That dude had no compassion. He's sitting there next to her drinking water after everybody trying to console her. He's like pretty much checked out. He had already slept with that girl. I'm like, oh, that was so heartbreaking. What did you guys think about the whole Cody and Selena thing that came out at the dinner party? Cody is emotional available. Yeah, why did you, my thing is if he was not attracted to that girl in the first place, just cut your losses. I know they tried, you slept with this girl, and then after sleeping with her, you pretty much just shut yourself off. That wasn't cool. Debbie, that is too funny. Al is an endangered species that needs to be protected at all costs. He is trying. I got to get that boy A for effort. I didn't know what to expect out of Al because of his age, but he is definitely trying. Look like Sam has let her walls down, and so now they consummated that marriage. So that is cool. Kim, you are absolutely correct. He didn't like Selena from the beginning. He didn't like her from the beginning. And then you guys had sex. She's happy about it. And then all of a sudden, a few days later, you're cold toward her again. I don't see this working. And then she's crying next to you, and you just decide to turn pretty much the opposite direction and just drink some water. And everybody else is consoling Selena. Cody doesn't know what he wants. He should have just left 2 weeks ago. When they had the opportunity to say leave, he should have left. Why would you take this girl through that? Well, I mean, she chose to stay too. But at the same time, that she doesn't deserve the behavior that he's giving. So, yep, it's yeah, he need to go home. Maybe they'll go home tomorrow. Maybe he's one of the ones that say, "Let's go." So, but yeah, I'm happy for Al and Sam. Um, this week we had a good week with Mitch and Ella. We didn't get a lot from Jackson and Olivia. They've been pretty cool. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, it was a pretty good week. But these new couples, 0 out of 3. 0 out of 3. Yes, he didn't want to seem like it was her race that was a factor, so he stayed. So you got a lot of people were saying he's going to try to do damage control. So, but the way he did it after the whole, I don't know. That whole thing is crazy. Selena, she's a sweetie. But they supposed to get front and center about a particular subject tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. So you guys look out for that episode tomorrow morning because it's already Sunday, right, David? So it'll be coming on tonight for you guys where we're still stuck in Saturday over here. So all right, let's keep it moving because I know you guys want to talk about Noodlegate. I know you guys want to talk about Loud Lindsey. And what else? Oh, the whole thing with the funny situation, I would say, with Jasmina. So let us move it along with Married at First Sight in the US. So you know what? They had a short part in this particular episode. I guess they wanted to go ahead and get them out the way. I didn't expect to see this couple. You know, I thought they were going to be gone, and that's Chris and Alyssa. I honestly thought it was over when he said to Pastor Cal last week that, you know what, today is my decision day. I want a divorce. I was like, okay, we ain't got to see them that much. Let's focus on the other 4 couples. Well, they were back this week. They were back this week. And Alyssa gaslit and lied through her teeth through this whole thing. And usually, as I said in my recap this past Wednesday, usually I always give a side eye or a second guess production. Well, I gotta give applause to production this week because every time she said I put in work, I did all that I could to this process. I tried to be there. He knew where I was. I was available for him. All of this production pulled up every freaking clip of her saying, "Don't bring him near me. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be around him." So I got to give credit where credit is due. And I got to give credit to production for really calling her out on her lies with receipts. Let's see what the comment says. Enough 5-second rule, move on. Oh, bye bye, Alyssa. Yeah, I'm ready for her to go. Hopefully, this is Alyssa's last paycheck. It's over, move on. Did anyone feel surreal when Alyssa kept lying about stuff we witnessed on screen? Yeah, you talking about receipts? Receipts. Do people ever watch themselves? I mean, it was like, girl, don't you know that all of the stuff that you said that production wasn't going to put that on camera? Come on. You know they was going to air everything to contradict what you said. Like I was imagining things. Yeah, she was trying to gaslight everybody. And here's the thing, did you see the facial reaction on the other couples when she was saying it? So even if we haven't saw what was going on, the couples knew what happened and they didn't believe her either. Yeah, she tried to even paint a picture for her friend at that little luncheon. And even the friend was like, "Yeah, well, I hear what you're saying, but maybe I should have met him personally." Yeah, because exactly, Kim, because her friend knew she was also probably a liar. Production must have hated her. Production knew that she brought the drama and she was like, this is our opportunity to call her out. Like I say, I got to give production a plus effort on calling her out. OCs through her. Yeah, Olajuwon definitely saw all of that. His facial reactions was like, "Come on, girl, you know who you talking to. We were on the honeymoon with you. We're in the same building with y'all. Who you talking to? You know we know what's up." So, and Chris didn't have to say much. All he pretty much said is, "You know what? We decided to get a divorce." He didn't have to say or plead a case or say, "No, you're lying. You know what you said." He just sat back. That's all he needed to do because production took care of the rest. The overly precise way Alyssa spoke grated on me. I mean, my question is her watching, because here's the thing, they filmed this 6 months ago. The weddings, everything happened at the end of July 2021. So before it aired in January of 2022, I can guarantee you Alyssa went back to her friends and family, co-workers, whatever, and did a whole smear campaign on Chris. Oh, he was horrible. I'm a good person. I did my best. Da 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 da. Da. Could you imagine the facial reactions to all her friends, families, co-workers watching this show after probably listening to what Alyssa told them? Yeah. Her and Lindsey too. Absolutely. But see, people in her family, Lindsey, family, father, brother, friends, they already know how she is. You know. And it's possible that they know how, Alyssa friends know how she is too, which is why the friend at the lunch said what she said, right? So, Kim, this picture was one of the promo shots that they took for the season and other promo shots. Yeah, so they have to pose to take a picture. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Hello? Say yes if you can hear me. Say yes if you can hear me. Say yes if you can hear me. I'm waiting for you guys to respond. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yay. Thank you. I don't know, I got a message in my dashboard that says interruption happened, but it said I was back online. So I just refreshed and I'm back. Okay, cool. Are you guys ready to stop talking about Alyssa? So we can move on. Let us move on. Let us move on. But yeah, I'm over Alyssa. I'm glad that they called her out. And I'm also glad that production did what they did. And of course we saw the reactions on the faces of the other couples because they didn't believe a word that was coming out of her mouth. Yes, next couple. All righty. We are going to move. Hold on to. Okay, let's talk about this couple because they didn't have a lot. Now remember, there was housewarmings this week. So even though we didn't get a housewarming with Chris and Alyssa, thank God, but there were housewarmings this week, and one of those housewarmings was this particular couple, Michael and Jasmina. Now, it was so funny when Jasmina was talking to her friend, and I think her friend was married. And the friend said, oh, even Jasmina said, I like to talk to her because she can understand what it's like to be married and she got my best interest at heart. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what the friend has to say. So Jasmina says, oh, one thing about Michael, he always got to be right. And she was like, that sounds like you. And she was like, me? What do you mean? And so I thought that was so hilarious. And she was like, I'm not, I'm not that most of the times. And she was like, well, see what I'm talking about? And she was like, that's because I'm always right. That was hilarious. Here's the thing with these two. I think if they both relax and get to know each other and not judge each other and him not being as pessimistic and learn how to communicate and Jasmina kind of relax a little bit, I honestly think that Mike and Jazz could actually make this thing work. Now, I do find it interesting because, okay, listen to what I'm going to say. And I meant to put this in my recap, but if I had to put everything in my recap, it'd be over an hour long because the show is 2 hours, right? Jasmina last week told Pastor Cal that he yells and he's aggressive. But then in a conversation that she has with her friends, oh, he's such a sweet guy. He's really nice. And I'm like, wait a minute. That don't add up. And see, that's why I don't. People have to be mindful for what they say versus just reacting to what you think you hear. So if he was being just say direct with her and say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that, and she took it as being loud and offensive, that's a possibility that could have happened. I don't know, right? Um, because she was really singing his praises in this episode that we had this week. I thought that was really interesting. Like I say, I like to pay attention to a lot of different things. I like to rule out the editing, what is, shaped for us to create a narrative or whatever. But last week he was aggressive and yelling. This week, oh my God, Michael is just so sweet and he's so nice and he's so sensitive. And I'm like, okay, which one is it, Jazz? Is he aggressive and yelling or is he nice, sweet, and sensitive? Debbie says that's a real friend in Jasmina. Yeah, tell her the truth. She told Jazz the truth. And I mean, even Jazz brought up the whole roommate thing. And even her friend was like, well, that could have been just a communication issue. I mean, and technically everybody was dragging pretty much Michael last week, not this past week, but the previous episode about not telling her about the female roommate, and I actually seen people, both male and female, said, well, unless you asked me if I've ever lived with someone in a relationship, I probably would have said the same thing. Yes, I live with roommates, but you know, I never actually lived with someone being in a relationship. I will say Michael did take accountability for that because I do watch the after party and he was apologizing over and over again on the after party. But that was a huge issue last week. And now this week, he's the sweetest guy. He's so nice. He's, sensitive. I don't know what's going on with those two. But I really could, if they just chill out, I actually think these two would be good together. Celery says, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Kim says she said they turned around after talking to Pastor Cal. Yep, that's true. Jasmina is trying to improve her reputation. That's a possibility. Mary said, I think these two are more concerned about the cameras and how they show themselves. That's possible. The AU version has a narrator, which I think helps when things happen to change dynamics between couples. That is true. I will agree with that, Tassie. They don't have that over here. They'll have like the experts come in and say something, you know what I mean? But they really don't have like that narrator like the AU side has. Maybe a friend told Jasmina how much nicer Katina looked by not criticizing her partner too much on air. Okay, interesting. But honestly, with these two, they actually had a good time together at the housewarming. They interacted well with each other's friends, all of that. So I just think that if they just chill out and communicate better, they could actually make their marriage work. Yep, they could absolutely make their marriage work. But they have to be able to do that. And the question is, can they? They actually had a good time at the bowling party with the other couples. They were sitting next to each other and so they definitely made a turnaround after the Pastor Cal conversation. So, not much this week on them. I think they had enough the previous week with the whole aggressive comment and the whole roommate thing. That was enough in itself. So, Celery says, so Jasmine is going to try to be polite for the rest of the season. That's possible. Because here's the thing. While everybody else was calling him a liar, there were also fans calling her a liar for lying to Michael about why she was leaving the apartment for 2 days. She told him it was for doggy daycare issues, but she got on her personal cam and said that she lied. It wasn't about that. She just needed time to get away. So that kind of made it a wash in social media because you had groups of fans saying that about her, groups of fans saying it about him, and everybody was like, okay, well, y'all leaving, y'all both liars. So hopefully, we'll see a turnaround. Do I think that they could make it? Sure. Will they make it is the question. The shows are taped, so there's no way a friend could tell her what Katina was doing. That's true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, because it was filmed 6 months ago. So that is true. All right, let's move on. And I'm going to save those other two for last, the Noodlegate and Loud Lindsey. But we're going to go to this couple who they're on my number one. Do I think they got hiccups? They're not perfect. Of course not. But I love this couple. Celery said no, they will divorce, no chemistry. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about Olajuwon and Katina. Yep, that's my number one too. Now, they tried to start up a little mess with them with this whole cooking thing. And then turn around and Olajuwon was telling, I think that was his friends, that when she went grocery shopping, she only came back with bread and water. Yeah, that was too funny. They should have went to the grocery store together. I mean, here's the thing. He did mention, which I follow that page that she has. She actually has a dining out blog on Instagram where she's kind of like I guess a reviewer, and she check out date spots around Boston, and then she talks about it on her blog. So she eats out all the time before she was married, right? So if she's not used to cooking for herself, I mean, I know people that's like that. They're single, and all day, they eat out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, and they don't have any children or anything. But when you get married, you are now no longer independent, you are interdependent. So there are two people that are working together, counting on each other to make this marriage work. And that includes what we're eating. And I know that they're trying to make this demand, saying, "Oh, he's demanding. He want to make her be at home barefoot and pregnant." That is not what Olajuwon wants. He knows that this girl works. He knows that she got a job. He works every day, and he cooks breakfast every morning. Now, here's the interesting thing, because last week when I was saying that to people in social media, because he did tell Pastor Cal that, people was like, "Oh no, that's not what he meant. He said that he was going to." Well, we actually got to see him cooking this episode, breakfast. And Katina was like, "Yeah, my husband cooked breakfast every morning." So that ends that back and forth on that situation. But at the same time, I do still think that they need to work together. Okay. So if she really don't know what to buy for the house, go grocery shopping together. Make it a date. You know, I think it's fun for couples to go grocery shopping together. You know what I'm saying? So why not say, "Hey, we're new to each other. This is our first time living together. We're in a new place together. What do you like to eat? What do you like to eat? Would you like to try this? Why don't we cook this together? Let's buy this. Let's do that." I think that instead of sending her by herself, maybe they should have went together. Okay, so Celery says they are number one because Katina is gracious. Exactly. Or put a list on the fridge. Absolutely. Go shopping yourself. Celery, I because it's two of them and they don't know each other's eating habits, what they would like to eat, I honestly think they should go together. And they could both, like you said, with the list, Tassie, sit down, make a list. What do you like to eat for breakfast? What would you like to eat for dinner? I know how to cook this. Why don't we buy these items? They need to sit down and talk about that. And worst case scenario, go to the store together and you guys pick out what you want together. That's how you're going to get to learn. No, it doesn't end all Elijah's outdated ideas. It's just cool. He's not 100% rigid. Yep. Order Hello Fresh meal prep and do it together. Yeah, you know what, Celery? That's what we were talking about in last week's live, because this is an ongoing conversation with this couple. So people was like, do a meal prep, especially with both of them working full-time jobs. I even told my daughter does it. I told my son the same thing. Hey, make a meal prep when you get your own apartment one day and you're working full time, because he's a full time college student right now. He graduates next year, so pretty soon he's going to be out there in the work world on doing his own thing. Prep your meals on Sunday, freeze them, put them away, get containers, and then just pull out what you want to eat. It's easy peasy. I want Katina and Olajuwon to work out so badly. I honestly think they will. I think they're going to be just fine. I like them, but he talks like a self help book or relationship expert. Just talk normally. Now, I will say, and I know this has been mentioned since the beginning of the season, everybody talks about his communication style and his energy. He is ADHD, or he has, I should say, not is. He has ADHD and is being managed by medication. So I don't know if that makes an impact on how he come across, because he can be really, he's not like Lindsey. Lindsey's over the top, but he can definitely be a lot for people who don't know what they're dealing with. Um, did she really only buy bread and water? Ola can exaggerate. And knowing production, we just don't know. I mean, I don't think she would just buy bread and water. Who bought the food for breakfast? Make notes, ask each other questions about preferences, do it together. Absolutely, Debbie. Why not sit down, especially if you two are living in a house together? You both got to eat before you go to work, take lunches to work, and dinner. Hey, let's sit down and talk about what's your diet like. Who knows? Somebody could be allergic to shellfish. Somebody could be allergic to eggs. You need to know those things. Like myself, I have a shellfish allergy. I can't touch it. I can't eat it. It's a wrap. So, that was one of the things I discussed when, I started a relationship. I cannot eat shellfish. Don't even kiss me with shellfish if you got through eating lobster, crab, or shrimp. You need to have those conversations. Who's lactose intolerant? Do you drink almond milk? Do you drink cow's milk? Or, they need to have those conversations. So that's something that they need to talk about, or go to the store together and you guys pick out what you want. Kim said he's full of himself. I honestly think from what I understand and listening to the after party and with other cast members talking about him, they see O as really a really nice guy. So, I mean, if you watch the after party on Wednesday, because there's another topic that really came up this week with Olajuwon. Steve and Chris really had great things to say about O. So, I mean, I know what production wants us to see, but from what other cast members are saying, he's really a nice guy. Mary said, I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's a way to make this work, but they got to talk about it. You just can't say, go to the store and get some food. Okay. Well, what do I need to get? What do you like? What do you don't like? What are you allergic to? You know what I mean? So the other issue that came up was Katina's friend. Now, some people didn't like what Katina's friend had to say, and some people were really triggered by what Katina's friend had to say. Katina brought up the fact that Olajuwon had not been in a relationship with a black woman. And so obviously this is a conversation that Katina said that she actually had with Olajuwon. And she said, wait, because obviously Katina knows how that can come across, which is why she tried to like, wait. Um, Katina came back and said, it's not like he has never been in a relationship. That's one of the things he said. And also I put it in my review. If you check out the review that I did on Wednesday and what she had to say on the after party, what it come down to is that number one, he hasn't been in a relationship with anybody. He has dealt with black women, but he's just never been in a relationship with a black woman until Katina now. Whereas the friends saw that as an issue, period. Now, some of the fans in social media saw that as Katina's friend doing too much. That's her husband. If she okay with it, that should be her issue. Some people saw it as red flags on Olajuwon. So it's a very sensitive topic, you know, to have a discussion about. And Keisha Knight Pulliam on After Party dug deep with that. And so, Katina definitely broke that down and about that whole situation. So if you haven't seen my review on Wednesday, or go check out the After Party, I like, especially when it comes to subjects like this, I like to let them speak for themselves because I don't want to misconstrue anything. I don't want to say anything that's out of pocket because, but I'm just saying what I saw on social media, what people's thoughts was on the friend side, what people's thoughts were on Katina's side, and the overall situation on the explanation on the after party. Okay, let's see what we got in the comments. I didn't realize he's put himself. Okay, my ex would have come home with $10 toilet paper and two bagels for him. That is hilarious, Tassie. Yeah, that's an issue for me too. What's an issue for you too, Kim? Olajuwon brother is married to white woman. I can't remember, but maybe he's been looking for women that reminds him of his mother to be serious relationship with. That was a lot of the comments as well in social media because if you guys remember, if you watched The Bachelor, Matt was, I think, the first black bachelor, and he's also, even though he looks like a black guy, he's darker skinned. His mom is Caucasian, and so a lot of people had issues with who his choice was, and there was a lot of controversy around that choice because of some information that came out. I don't want to rehash that, but in Olajuwon's case, his mother is also Irish, and of course, I'm assuming his father may be, black or African American or from, the African descent. So, yeah. Now you said Kim not issue with not dating a black woman before. According to Katina, he hasn't been in a relationship. Dating in a relationship, I guess, serious relationships, committed, I don't know. According to Katina, the conversation was, and like I said, according to her, and if you want to hear her word for word, I have that clip in my recap from Wednesday, or you can check it out on the after party. So yeah, but her statement is that Olajuwon has dealt with black women in his past. He has not been in a serious relationship with one until now, and he hasn't been in a serious relationship, period. So Katina would be the first, and she is black. So that's what we have there on that subject. Um, but other than that, they pretty much that they had about 100 pieces of chicken, and her friends at the housewarming party, they did kind of mellow out a little bit after actually interacting and seeing how happy Katina was, and his friends was definitely cool with Katina. So I think they're going to be good. I mean, there's something that's supposed to come up next week about him, something about proving to be a wife or something. I don't know, but that's got everybody up in arms. So we'll have to see what that's all about. I don't like to jump when I see those. It's interesting. It piques my curiosity, but I want to see it in action. And then I'll, go from there, watch the after party and see what happens. You know what I mean? So but other than that, all that chicken they had, they had a good time at the dinner party or whatever. So, I think they're going to be fine. I'm rooting for them. We'll definitely see. But like one of my other fellow content creators said, after the whole conversation that she had with Olajuwon regarding his past dating history, like the other content creator said, she said, "Hey, if Katina's okay with it, I guess we have to be okay with it too." Because she was cool with it. It didn't phase her not one iota. So, hey, it is what it is. All right. So let us move on to Noodlegate. Because I know you guys want to talk about Noodlegate. Noodlegate. And that is this particular couple right here, Mr. Steve and Noe. As soon as this updates, there we go. So these two started out on a good foot. However, before we get to Noodlegate, there's still this issue about him working a 9 to 5. And Noe had a conversation with his people, and they were like, oh, he got networks, resources, and everything else. So I really don't. If he want to work, he can, but if he don't, he's okay with that too. And that caused a lot of controversy. A lot of people was like, why don't he just go get a job? Why don't he just go get a job? Well, as resourceful as social media can be, people start digging into his finances. And it comes to find out that actually, and maybe I can put up a picture on the screen. Let's see. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to try to see. I should have put it up earlier, but I'm not gonna worry about it. So apparently Steve invented 2 apps. One is called Jib, I think it is, or something like that. And if you follow me on, well, if you're subscribers to this channel, I'll post it in my community post. So look out for it. It's news information about his inventions. And technically, according to what is being said, he's worth about $1.3 million. I'm just putting it out there. The thing is, a lot of people are saying now, knowing that information, is that because of the fact that you're marrying a stranger, it's possible he don't want to put that information out there before actually knowing where this is going to go. Because you guys got to remember, they're only 2 weeks in. And just like if you ever watch, because I also follow this show called Joe Millionaire that come on Fox here in the States. They are also dating without the women knowing that they're millionaires, because they want somebody who's going to be there for them and now how much money they got, unlike what we were saying with Dion on the Australia version. So that might be the case. And because he's not working, he's self-employed. That's one of the things that he talked about on um, the after party. He's self-employed. And so the projects that he's getting, even Chris co-signed with him, saying that people don't realize the industry that Steve is in, that in Boston, I guess the wages are a lot higher. In the Northeast, New York, Boston, maybe Jersey. I don't know, you guys, if you're from that area, let me know. But he did pretty well for himself. And if he, created 2 apps that made him a ton of money and he put that money in the bank, he technically don't have to punch a clock right now if he don't want to, especially if he had enough money to travel for 4 months. And at the same time, he still do projects. He's freelancing, self-employed. Steve is the only adult in that relationship, but I'm going to need him to break down his finances and freelance costs. Debbie, I just broke it down. Just broke it down. They brought Joe Millionaire back. Yes, they did. It comes on Thursday nights here in the United States. They're actually coming into the home stretch. I think that season started in the middle of January. It's pretty good. It is pretty darn good. I started to do reviews on it, but I'm like, I don't know if the audience is there for it. So I enjoy watching it just for my entertainment. Yes, Debbie, he does. He invented, like I was just breaking it down. Yeah, he came up with those 2 apps, and people went digging and they found out what his net worth is. And that shows them, I would say with the viewers, most predominantly a large percentage of the viewers are working people. So when you hear a person that don't have a job and they're getting married, the first go to normally is, this man ain't working. What? Well, when you're an entrepreneur, it's the opposite. And that was the main thing when I was on the dating market, is to be able to connect with someone who understand that life. I have nothing against 9 to 5 people. I still have where I punch a clock, but I'm also majority of the time an entrepreneur. So I also wanted to connect with someone who understand the entrepreneurial mindset, because it's a totally, and not saying that Noy don't understand it. I honestly think in this case, Steve need to give her a plan. If he gives her a plan to say, you know what, I'm good, I got the resources, don't have to punch a clock, I do freelance, here's the plan, I think she might be okay with that. Just give her a plan. That's all I think she's asking for. I don't think she's telling him you need to go and apply for a job tomorrow. I honestly think she want to know, what's the plan? What we doing? Okay? He's living the dream real. Yeah, he is. He is. I have no doubt about that. I mean, and here's the interesting thing. So, on the after party, Chris said that he was also at one point working a 9 to 5, right? However, he, for whatever reason, I think either he said he let the job go or he got laid off. If, don't quote my words. If you want to see that, go check it out. But I will say he took time. He said he took time away for a few months to go travel the Northeast because he had the financial, um, money, or he was able to financially support that. He said, so I can totally understand what Steve did because he did it himself. And then, of course, you guys know he's in real estate. He's another guy that is doing pretty well for himself. So, um, here's the thing. Sometimes we kind of got to look at the big picture. I know we with reality TV, and what the narratives they want to paint, except Alyssa. Alyssa painted her own narrative, which speaks for itself. But with a lot of these, they just took a narrative to say, hey, Steve, you don't have a job. You work from home. Okay, let's make it look like you have no job. And we know that's going to make the fans upset. Why you put a person with no job to get married? They took that and ran with it. And so I'm glad that it's now coming out, some of the stuff that he did. And like I say, I actually have a copy of that particular thing about him being in the local news with him creating those apps. So I'll post that in my community tab. So look out for that if you are a subscriber. I wonder if Steve left his job to complete the app so that his former company couldn't claim a piece. Now, from the way it was said, it was originally stated at the beginning of the season that he was let go due to the pandemic, that he was laid off. So who knows if that narrative is true, that he was laid off, or would have been a conflict of interest like what you're talking about, Debbie. I think the job market is changing and a 9 to 5 isn't the only way to go. Well, the pandemic definitely proved that, because as we know in 2020, and I know some of my friends who were in close to 6-figure jobs were put on furlough for a number of weeks and then eventually released from their positions. Anytime you work for someone else, your livelihood is in the hands of that person. That's the thing. Now, I'm not saying self-employment and entrepreneurship is a cakewalk, because you have to make that work in order to get paid. But you're in control of that. So the only way to get fired if you fire yourself. However, on the employment side, you could be the best employee for the last 10, 15 years, bring millions of dollars of revenue to the company, come to work every day, perfect attendance, help out other departments. If that business say we got to cut cost and cut bottom line, It doesn't matter whatever you did, your livelihood is in their hands, right? So that's the difference. I know a lot of people like, well, you need something that is solid and confirmed. Anytime you work for somebody else, they can always pull the plug on you. So it is what it is. I'm not saying there are jobs out there that are great. You got good employers. I'm not talking down anything. But that's the thing about it. Like you said, the job market is changing. Absolutely, Tassie. Oops had to step away. Even if Steve is an app creating millionaires, cruel not to explain his finances to no in a 1 hour conversation. I wouldn't say it's cruel. I think he's cautious because, like I said, with the Joe Millionaire show, a lot of people who have those type of resources, especially in this day and age, you don't know who you're dealing with, and these two are strangers at this point. Now, granted, they are in a marriage, but at the same time, I can understand why he may be a little bit cautious because he needs to know what he's dealing with. It's only been, at this point, 10 days, I think, day 10. So it's possible that they eventually had the conversation. Again, this was filmed 6 months ago, right? But I do agree to the extent that he does need to, sit down at some point and discuss the plan. What are we doing to be financially sound in this marriage? And when it comes to having children and maybe buying a house, he has to eventually sit down and talk about the plan. Absolutely. Oh, Steve looks rich. So, what is his problem? Why is he so mean about taking a moment? So mean? You think he's mean? These jobs don't care about anyone. Yeah, you're expendable. You are app. You are. If they say we got to cut costs, we got to cut payroll, we got to cut employee what numbers. They don't care if you've been there 5 years or 15. Um, do you know if the producers, etc., talk about prenups? I don't know. That's a good question. I really don't know if they talk about prenups on the show. Sorry, it is cruel because he knows how important it is to her. P.S. You can explain safely. That's true. I agree. There, I mean, if you are cautious, there's a way to kind of ease into making your partner feel secure, you know. But, that's how we would handle it. I can't say that's how everybody would handle it, right? They can do it privately, just say after it's been discussed. Honestly, I think that because remember, I already know who says yes on decision day, and for those that has messaged me on Instagram, you guys know the answer to that as well. So I think conversations amongst all of these couples eventually had been had. I just think at this point that conversation hadn't been. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still early. It's still only 10 days. It's not like they're in week 6, right? So Steve can show her one of his several accounts. Yeah, that's true. But again, we're talking at this point. Who's to say next week he will break it down for her, right? We don't know. All right, now we're done with the job part. The other issue is because a lot of people think that she's upset about the job part is this whole Noodlegate. So apparently they're getting ready to cook for, and I think they were cooking for the housewarming or whatever. And she cooked noodles, and then somebody cooked gluten-free noodles, right? That goes back to the Olajuwon and Katina conversation about knowing what to buy for the house because somebody is not um their body can't tolerate gluten. So somebody had gluten-free noodles in this situation. Well, I guess when she cooked her noodles, she didn't check on his noodles. She just left them there. They got overcooked. He came and checked them, and he was like, "Wow, you know, you could have checked on my noodles too." And she got mad. She was offended. She got so mad because she felt that I'm cooking dinner for him for the first time, and he's telling me I should have checked his noodles too. She picked up her dog. in her clothes and left the house, not telling Steve where she went, not telling Steve where she's staying. And she pretty much was gone. She ghosted him. And then she decided to post some cryptic message on social media that was referred back to him and then come back slowly but surely looking mad the next day. That is so immature. Now, as much as folks kind of want Steve to do some things, that was so immature for her to do. If if you got a problem with noodles, and some people were saying, "Oh, she's still mad about the whole money situation," then you need to have another conversation about it. But you don't. He asking like, "Man, you could have checked on my noodles." My next response would have been, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I should," you know. Or some people even said that she should have told him, "Well, I'm trying to cook this over here. Could you had checked on your own noodles?" There's so many ways that could have went, except for her picking up her dog and deciding to just walk out and leave, right? And then he was calling, blowing up her phone. She wasn't answering. And then she put that message on social media, on Instagram, right? The other problem with this is that not only does her friends and family see that message, his friends and family follow her. So they see that message also. And of course, Steve is like, they going to be asking me, "Oh, what happened? What did you do? What's the problem?" And he don't even know because you ain't talking to him. All right, let's see what the comments. We're talking about having seen next week. Okay. She was cooking dinner for him. He eats regular noodles. Okay, cool. Nope, it was a meal for two. Now, Tassie, you want noodles? You hungry? Listen, I'm over here thinking about that too. I was like, dang, noodles do sound good right about now. Celery said he stepped in to let her know his noodles were overcooking. Simple thing is she stormed out crazy and too melodramatic. Absolutely. If you're gonna cook noodles or cook dinner, I should say, for your man, make sure you make his the way he likes it too. Absolutely. I can criticize both people if both were wrong, and they are. Yep, gotcha. Absolutely. Because I mean, yeah, he, like you said, Celery, he needs to kind of ease into letting her know his financial situation. At the same time, she didn't handle that well at all. She didn't have to leave. You're absolutely correct, Kim. Exactly. I would have said, "Oh, sorry, could you get those?" Yep. Um, Debbie said Noy was annoyed because his friends said that they would love to hire Steve at his company, and she feels that he's turning down work. Again, only one adult in this relationship. Yep. Celery says she was totally off base. His friends and family would advise him to think twice. Of course, that whole thing, why would you go to social media? If you got a problem going on in your household, you don't take it to social media. You know who did that? Taylor from season 10. Remember when she was so pissed off about Brandon, she decided to go take these scathing remarks and put them in the social media. Now, granted, Brandon was Brandon, right? We remember that, right? But she also did the same thing. She decided to go put stuff in social media. Now we got Noy doing this. And it's like, you got a problem with your spouse, you talk to him. I've seen women do that. I think that's totally immature. I think it's disrespectful. If you got a problem going on in your household with your spouse, why take it to strangers on social media who don't know your situation, don't know what you did? You're only telling one side of the story. And now everybody in the world thinks your partner is the bad guy. Solve that stuff in your own relationship at home. Kim, yeah, she was 100% wrong. Rebel, hey, I didn't see, well, how long you been here? I'm just seeing this first comment from you. I understand both sides, but no, it's too immature. Absolutely. She embarrassed him to everyone. Yes, she did, Mary. She's 30-year old, acting like a teenager who did not get her way. Yeah, you don't do that. And when she came back, Steve respectfully told her about her behavior. I don't think you should have did that. You should have told me how you felt. Don't take it to social media. My family, your family sees it. That's not the right way to do things. We need to communicate. He did the appropriate thing by telling her what he did not like, and he did it respectfully. And she sat in that corner with her arms crossed, looking like a child that just got in trouble because she did. She should not have done that. I'm surprised production allowed him to use social media while filming. Well, here's the thing, they still have their social medias, but it's on lockdown. But they can still post to whoever is on their account. So it's not open to new people. It's not open to new people, but people within that's already as followers within their closed accounts, they can still see whatever they post. So it's like having a private account with no outsiders can see it, but people that's already a part of it, they can see stuff. Yep. Those millennials only know how to post on social media. They don't know how to converse. Conversations need to be happening. You don't go to social media the moment you get into a tiff with your significant other. It's just not appropriate. Solve and keep the dirty laundry in house and fix it. Don't take it to strangers who don't know you. They're only going to side, especially your friends. They don't know the full story. Did she tell them that you let this man noodles overcook? No, she probably didn't say that part, right? So we need Sriracha to meditate, mediate. Yep, that's funny, Debbie. Yeah, so she definitely mishandled that. She did not handle that in a mature way. This is where I need the Married at First Sight Australia experts to come and tell Noy about herself. Because I don't see Pastor Cal or Dr. Pepper or Dr. Viviana saying anything. They might touch on it, but if this was the Married at First Sight Australian experts, oh yeah, they would have called her out. Yes, they would. They would have been watching. We would have saw them watching, and they would be like, "Oh no, Noy did not just leave and do that." I would have loved to have seen that. So yeah, have John do it. Yeah, John would have definitely called her out. Oh my goodness. And I think John would have even told Steve to say, "Hey, you need to create a plan of action with your finances and show that to Noy." Terry says, "I don't think it was about the pasta. That pot was already boiling over." It was. But yeah, I would love. Can we swap out? I was telling this to one of my other fellow content creators. I was like, can we switch out the Married at First Sight Australia experts with the US ones? Please. I would love to have them any day. Any day. I would love to um have John call out Alyssa, have John hold Noy accountable. That would be great. Can we borrow them for a minute, Australia? I know Dave. I don't know if he's still on the chat, but yes, that is a good idea, Kim. Oh, I would love it. Oh my God, I would love it. Because yeah, John would have told her, you don't do that. You communicate. You don't leave. You don't post to social media. You talk to your husband. That would have been awesome. All right. And and let's talk about this last couple. And then we're going to wrap it up. Also, too, guys, again, if you haven't liked this video, please smash that like button. Let's get the likes up. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is listed on the screen. And please, if you want to support the channel, my Cash App tag is there as well. Mary says, John on Lindsey. Oh my God. Oh my God. That would be epic. Yes, Mary, I would love it. You know what? I actually think Lindsey would probably try to go toe to toe with him. Because it seems like she really don't care who's the person she's talking to. She gonna say what she want. Could you imagine John telling Lindsey about herself? Lindsey would definitely clap back. That would be epic. Okay. Married at First Sight America needs to make it an experiment like AU. They should. They need to tweak some stuff. This stuff is oh, guys, from the Married at First Sight Australia side, how many couples do we still have together? If you guys know that answer. Because I know on the US side, we have 12. We had 13, but Amelia and Bennett got a divorce. Oh, and there's also speculation that I think Amelia has a new boo, and it looks like Bennett has a new boo too. All that's on my Instagram. So if you want to check it out, follow me over there. Lindsey is verbally abusive. Oh my God. Verbally abusive is putting it nicely, especially what happened at the bowling party. Oh my goodness. Only thing I don't like about these two is the emotional highs and lows. When it gets like that, it gets to a point where it's toxic. Because one moment we see them in a tiff. Next moment, they're great. They're having a good time. Next moment, they're having a meltdown. And then next episode that's coming up next week, they're go-karting, smiling, and happy together. I'm like, these two, you know. Okay, so for married first, on one legal marriage and maybe two couples stay together. The track record. Are you serious? Wow. I would think because of the quality of how they do things over there versus over here. And you guys had 9 seasons. Well, Australia has had 9 seasons. I would think it would have been more than that. It seems like she has a drinking problem. Yeah, that's possible because we saw what that wedding looks like. And she was drinking on the way there and drinking when she got dressed. Yeah, so Jules had a baby. Okay, cool. Merla was on a date with Ryan. Um Now I have a picture of that on my Instagram, Kim, but people are saying that they were just hanging out. I don't know. Did you hear also that what is his name? Yeah, Ryan from not that Ryan, but the Ryan from season 13 knows Alyssa, and he actually went to bat for Alyssa, saying that she really is a nice person. I was like, oh, Ryan, are you sure you want to get into the middle of that? So, of course, with him saying that, a lot of people start responding. So, yeah, he and I don't know. He claims that he knows her and that she really is a good person. So, I don't know. Yeah, Lindsey, oh my God, abusive completely. Um, Lindsey is just vile. Yeah. I think Australia has more actors on trying. That's probably what it is. Because we got a ton of couples that are still together in the US and got babies. We got married at first sight babies as well. Shawnee and Jeff D. Um, of course, a couple of them just had a baby. Oh my God. Because I used to watch Couple Cam. I don't know if you guys watched Couple Cam when it came on. Of course, Woody and Amani is expecting they'll be having a baby in June. It's a ton of married at first sight US babies and marriages that are still together. Lindsey thinks she's better than everyone. I don't think anyone in the cast likes her. Okay, so let's jump into this part. So, the bowling party. Lindsey makes a statement about how before intimacy is involved, you should have conflict first, which that didn't sit too well with a lot of the couples. And one of those couples was Katina and Olajuwon. Now, Olajuwon didn't have too much to say, but Katina definitely had a facial reaction. And she rolled her eyes. And instead of, I guess, Lindsey just letting it go, and some people was actually applauding Lindsey for not letting it go. But there were other folks that was like, Lindsey, you didn't have to go there, especially when it was already bad blood between them. And so when she asked Katina, what are you rolling your eyes for? Katina was like, you know not to talk to me. Stay over there, girl. And that caused a rift because her husband, Mark, the shark, did not like her getting started with them. And see, here's the thing. So, social media, that the ones that was kind of rooting for Lindsey on that part, not the demeaning of her husband. Well, I will say that too, because some folks was mad at Mark for not taking her side, which I don't understand that, but hey, to each his own. Um, a lot of people like, oh, Katina's just being messy. She always starting stuff. Okay, let's back that up. There's bad blood already between them. This started in episode 2 or 3, because number one, she got on camera and lied about Olajuwon's character. She tried to fight Olajuwon in the airport, and of course, Olajuwon didn't do anything, because you know how that would have turned out. And at the same time, Katina, defended and got in front of that situation to keep, um, Lindsey from initiating that fight even further. She was antagonizing them on the plane. And I think we talked about this in the previous lives. If not, it's on my recaps. She antagonized them on the plane. She tried to start a fight in the airport. Then you get on camera and try to lie and say he was being aggressive, posturing you, and I felt uncomfortable. So you didn't build bad blood with them. Why would you continue to poke the bear? So for those who might listen to my live who feel that Katina is starting something, Lindsey started that a long time ago. And pretty much Katina has been staying clear of her. The only thing is that when she said what she said about the intimacy and conflict, Katina didn't agree with it. She didn't say anything. She just rolled her eyes. Lindsey went there. Katina clapped back, and Mark was not happy. Okay. Lindsey, okay, let's see. It was a lot of comments. Let me go back. Okay, so isn't US run more years too? Yeah, we're in season 14, Mary. Australian cast members are all very attractive for the most part. Yeah, they are. They look like models and stuff. Katina is over Lindsey, as she should be, because she kept picking with them for the previous 2 weeks. Lindsey will not let things go. The ego is on her. Yep. Celery said, plus Lindsey gave a weird quote, so who wouldn't roll their eyes? Absolutely. It just didn't make sense. Terry says, I love the way Katina handled Lindsey. Yep. Um, Debbie says, other people made faces at Lindsey's comment, and she only called out Katina. Mark was following her friend's advice, telling her he didn't like what she did. That's a good point. That second part, Debbie, her friends told him, you need to tell her what you don't like. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Mark constantly embarrassed by her, and she has no respect for her husband and no social grace. Yep. I roll my eyes too if Lindsey said what she said. Yep. Rebel says, I wouldn't co sign Lindsay's behavior either. Who knows how many other instances there are before editing? There were a ton. And that's why I side eyed production when they gave Lindsay full camera about what she described with Olajuwon, but it came out in the after party from not only, well, at that time Alyssa was on the after party, but Katina and Mark was, well, Olajuwon and Mark was there, and they put it all on the table what the cameras did not show. Olajuwon spoke to Katina to diffuse the situation, and Katina stopped. Yep, because he was like, you know what, you ain't got. He sure did. He sure did. Mark tried to do the same, and Lindsay blew her top. Absolutely. Mary said Lindsay is so used to no one calling her out on her behavior, she can't stand it when somebody does. That is true. And that's the fault of people around her. You know, if people don't set boundaries to a person like her, she gonna run through them like a freight train. And she's been doing that. So people have been excusing her, saying, "Oh, that's just Lindsay. Oh, and here she go again." Instead of saying, "Lindsay, stop. Don't do that. That's not nice. I don't like when you do that." But because she's been having free reign to do that, of course, she gonna think it's okay. People only do what you allow. So yeah, I mean, now that leads us into, after the whole Katina thing was done, Mark talks to her on the side and say, "Why you just couldn't let that go?" And she turns it into, "Why you not supporting me? Whose side are you on?" He's like, "I'm on your side, which is why I'm trying to tell you to stop. Why you keep messing with them?" And what did she do that for? "Oh, you better go somewhere and stay somewhere tonight. And you better call your mama." And, he even kind of diffused it by saying, "You know what? Just go have another drink." And then she decided to go in the bathroom and start talking trash about him only making 60,000 a year, and he can't satisfy her in bed. She doesn't get the big O, and calling his genitals small, and I mean, she was going for the jugular with her own husband. And then to take it up another notch, because Chris is consoling Mark, who's sitting on the steps by himself, she takes it up another notch and start yelling about his roach infested house, and how dare I was there to help you. I'm like, he should have been done. Lindsay reference to Mark to call his mommy was really rude. Absolutely. He ain't no child. Why would you do that? The bottom line is, you shouldn't. Hey, Alyssa asked her at the bonfire, at the honeymoon, why is she rolling her eyes? What did Lindsay do? "Oh, I ain't doing nothing." But then when you ask Katina why she's rolling her eyes, and she's like, "Look, don't talk to me. You know not to talk to me." Then you want to take it up 1,000. Go figure. Um, the conversation she had with a friend, she said nasty things. Yep. Lindsay is Hurricane K, having her behavior blown off like it's cute. It's not cute. It's disrespectful. It's rude. I don't see how Mark could even come back from that. You emasculated, disrespected, demeaned, all of that in one shot. And you made sure everybody in the bowling alley heard it. She was loud. My thing is, production gave audio to all of that. See, that's the only side I give about this show sometimes. It's like, you see what this woman is doing. And I mean, we've definitely seen it in previous seasons with certain situations. But you gave this girl a microphone to say what she had to say in that bathroom. And production was like, "Yeah, and you want to do this? And what about this?" And what, I'm like, wow. I hope Chris gave Mark the roadmap to getting out of this marriage. Actually, on the after party, because Chris was there, Chris says this happens all the time. He says that Lindsey calls him about Mark. Mark calls him about Lindsey. He's pretty much been the go-to person in their marriage, even though obviously Chris ain't got nothing going on because Alyssa is not in his life. So on the flip side, they've been using Chris as a sounding board when it comes to issues that they have with the other. Oh, Tassie's gone. Aw. See you later, girly. No way he stays with her and puts up with it. I wouldn't. She act like she's doing Mark a favor. It's like, yeah, because she keep throwing back the stuff that she did. If you're gonna help somebody, help somebody because you want to. Don't use that as leverage and say, "Oh, but I help you and you did this to me and you listen." If you really didn't want to do it, don't do it. Don't throw it back in his face. But at least he was able to hear exactly how she felt. Yeah, he heard it, and everybody in that bowling alley heard it. But it sucks, Kimmy. Oh, that was horrible. Lindsey made sure she put Mark down loud enough for everybody to hear. Yep, the makeup sex must be the bomb. See, and that's the crazy thing, because I hear about that a lot. Oh, I'm going to we fight and then we make up. Oh my God, that is so toxic. I mean, in order for you to get intimacy, you got to have a fight, which goes back to her original comment that started all of this when she said, in order for you to have intimacy, you must have conflict first. So, hey, that makes sense. Chris said it happens all the time. Maybe production wanted to expose how vile she speak. That's possible. We know she's bad, but that was horrible. It was. It was so horrible. I don't see how he can deal with that. Because like I said, the previews that we saw for next week episode where they're out having a good time with each other, go-karting. I'm like, how did y'all get from the bowling alley situation to now y'all smiling and giggling with each other and having fun go-karting? I don't get it. I don't get it. But uh Debbie says Lindsey is a selfish lover because she only concerned about her own sexual gratification. Yeah, I mean, she said that man has small testicles, and hopefully YouTube. I don't hope you don't cut me for that word, but you had to go there. You hit him in his finances. You hit him below the belt with the comments, and then you made sure the whole world see it or hear it. Pretty much the fans, the couples, everybody else in that bowling alley. And the other thing is that you've been sleeping with this man, but really you lied because originally you were saying y'all had sex pretty much 2, 3 times in a day. When according to Mark, y'all only slept together twice in the 8 days that y'all was together. But you claim you're not getting the big O, or you're not, he's not getting you there. Really? I don't know which is bad. Noe and her social media text message, or her, I guess they're both in the same boat. When you airing your dirty laundry to everybody else, that is so disrespectful. Debbie says Mark will deal with it because he needs a place to stay until he find a new apartment. I mean, I would hope that he can stay with somebody. Man, what do small balls have to do with anything when you think about it? Exactly. She was trying to emasculate him. Why would you need to talk inside, your husband's pants with other people and use it as a way to be destructive? Lindsey is worse. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. So I'm just, I hope, unless something changes, these two do not need to be together. They just don't. When you say things about his dying mother, that's low. Yes, because she called him a mama's boy, and that you just need to go back home to your mama. That is, yeah, she just in all full force attack mode. I don't know if you follow this other content creator who is he's pretty cool. Um, Kojo on Little Black Book 91. He kind of broke down the psychological aspect of why Lindsay does what she does. There's some abandonment issues going on somewhere because remember, and if go over there and check out his video because it was really interesting how he broke that down. But remember, she said that her mom is not in her life. I don't know how long her mom has not been in her life, but she's not. So is there possible abandonment issues there? And with her feeling abandoned in her mind, because I don't think Mark abandoned her. He just did not want to get involved in trying to keep her and out of the loop with this mess that she had started with Katina. But because she felt that he wasn't taking her side and not being supportive in her mind, she felt abandoned. So instead of saying, I feel lost, why don't you support me or explain why you feel that you do, she went on full attack mode. Okay, you know what? You're going to abandon me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going on attack mode. And you talking about attack. She attacked him. So I know I kind of gave you a brief synopsis. Go check out his video on the psychology of her behavior. It was pretty interesting. It made a lot of sense. Kojo tends to like to dive deep into the psychological aspect of things, which I think that's really cool because that's where your behavior starts from, right? So, but either way it go, at this point, you should have gotten some help with that. If you have abandonment issues, you know, talk with somebody about how to deal with that. You cannot spew and injure other people. You know how they say hurt people hurt people? Don't put that pain on other people because of maybe something that you're going through. Let's see. When you say things, yeah, okay. Even if they stay together, it wouldn't be for long. Yeah, I agree with that, Mary. I would sleep with one eye open around her. Do they have two bedrooms in these apartments? Yes. I do think so because that allowed the couples, if they have a disagreement, not to stay in the same room. But they do have two bedrooms in the apartment. Why do people not get help before marriage if they need it? Because you have to admit to yourself that you need it. And there are people who just don't, they think they're fine, and the only person, other people might see that, but if the person themselves don't see it, it's not going to happen. How did Lindsay get past the experts? I honestly think production saw her as 110% drama. Because if you take Lindsay out of this, there's really not a lot of drama. We had a little bit with Jasmina and Michael. They nitpicked the whole cooking situation with Olajuwon and Katina. Alyssa brought her own form of drama. I don't think they expected Alyssa to do what she did. I think they expected more out of Lindsay. And they was like, oh, yeah, she's going to be great for the show. Because she definitely got a lot of drama with her. So that's what I think. She needs therapy. Yeah, I agree. Rebel said to Mary, I wish they'll put contestants through therapy before the show. Here's the thing about reality TV. So if you watch dating reality TV or even competitive reality TV like The Big Brother or Survivor or some of that other stuff, if everybody was emotionally healthy and happy and worked through things, and I've seen it on certain shows that were like that, fans will be talking about as boring. Now, me personally, I prefer happy and healthy, right? Which is why I try to keep it objective over here, right? At the same time, shows like to create contrast and drama just for the purpose of keeping people talking because there is a vast majority, and it's so unfortunate because it's not healthy to the partner that they're with to get that inflicted on. That's what the shows don't understand. Now they claim they offer counseling sessions. Even Married at First Sight Australia said that to um I think it was Daily Mail when Celine came out saying all that crap about Anthony and how she was forced, and production over there was like, "Oh, no, no, no. We don't push people into anything. If they want counseling, we have counselors on site." Married at First Sight US do offer counseling, but to put somebody in that situation and they get damaged, like just say Chris, thank God Chris seems to be mentally solid, because anybody else dealing with Alyssa is damaged. With Lindsey, it seems that Mark is trying to hold it together, but why, and just for drama, why inflict these people on other happy people? That's what I don't like. She's good TV. Absolutely. That's why they got her. They saw her coming a mile away. Lindsey is loud. I can tell you, probably in her audition, she put on a show. And production was like, oh, yeah, we can definitely use her. Um, this is so unfair to Mark, especially with this being his second time. Exactly. This is his, because season 6, which is Shawnee's and Jeffy's season, Mark applied in that season when they were in Boston. And then he didn't get chosen, and then come back a second time and you put him with somebody like Lindsey. That is crazy. That was crazy. Yep, she has no shame. Yep, that's his second application. It sure is. So honestly, I don't think they thought Alyssa was going to do what she did. I honestly think that they were riding on the drama of um Lindsey. Now, I actually think that they picked Olajuwon for drama because a lot of the fans in the very beginning did not like Olajuwon. But Olajuwon is growing on people because of, I guess, and I honestly think maybe it's some theories, with how Lindsey was provoking Olajuwon and picking on Katina and stuff. I'm wondering if they were even hoping for Olajuwon to pop off, and he didn't. He's been maintaining himself. So I honestly think, I think production was hoping to get something out of Olajuwon, just like they were hoping to get something out of Woody, and Woody flipped the script on them as well. Because some people are comparing the show presence of how Woody was in season 11, comparing that into how Olajuwon was, because Woody was also portrayed as being this player who was very outspoken and flamboyant, and he flipped the script for real. He turned into this great husband. I mean, even like I said before, even content creators came back and apologized for what they thought about Woody. They was like, man, I was wrong. I thought sure he was going to be a F boy. I thought he was going to be a player. And he turned out to be a great husband. And like I said, 2 years later, they're having a baby. And I think they tried to do that with Olajuwon. And Olajuwon is not going down that route. So what we have is Lindsey and Alyssa. Yep, she has no shame. Poor guy. He deserves a woman who wants to be a wife. He sure does, especially on his second go round. Seriously? Why would you put Lindsey with somebody like Mark? I mean, come on. Now, originally I thought their personalities kind of even out and she was trying to help him out, but not she has no filter. She obviously needs to try to get through whatever she needs to get through, issues with not having her mom connection or whatever the situation is. That should not be a liability for Mark, though. That's not fair. And it's so unfortunate that that's what he has to go through. you know so I don't know, guys. We have to wait and see. We had another good show. We've been on for 2.5 hours, but it was great, great, great. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, hit that like button. I enjoyed our time. We're going to do another live tomorrow about the Married at First Sight commitment ceremony number 3. Who stays, who leaves. I'm excited about that. But yeah, I like I say, I do know the outcome. If you want to know, message me on Instagram. I will give you that, but I'm not going to spoil it here. So, but yeah, Lindsay and Mark, I just yeah, that I don't see it. It's that's going to get old. At some point he's going to get tired of going through all of that with her. And yeah, he wants a life where he can be happy in his marriage, not worrying about at every turn what she's going to say or what she's going to do, and he shouldn't have to, walk on eggshells, right? Right. All right. Yes, you guys are so welcome. You guys are so welcome. I love all of you guys to continue coming back and especially engaging in the chat section. I love the comments, you guys. Again, follow me on IG if you haven't. And guys, hit the like button while you're here or if you're on your way out if you've enjoyed this live chat. And then if you want to support the channel, my cash tag is there. If you wanted to, send some love that way, as well. So I hope you enjoyed this live. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. And until then, enjoy your evening or morning, depending on where you are. Talk to you soon. Bye.